Thank you to Shivani and Espresso Talks for inviting me here. I don't believe that I am qualified enough to be standing here and telling you about what I did, but obviously they do. The people that I am sharing this platform with are truly inspirational, and I'm very humbled to be standing on the same platform as them and getting an opportunity to share my story as well. I'm just going to introduce you a little bit to what I did. Basically, in October, okay, I'll give you the backstory. The last week of September, I woke up one night with a rumble in my belly. I wasn't able to sleep. It was about 2:33 at night, and I hadn't been able to sleep that night because I was hungry. And that was the time that Bangalore was going through a cold spell. So I was very reluctant to get out of my bed. I didn't want to leave the warm comfort of my blanket. And I have a 7-year-old son who was snuggling into me, so I didn't really want to get up. Utterly lazy. I could have gone and got myself something to eat from the fridge if I wanted to. So, but I didn't. I lay there and cribbed and complained for about 45 minutes till the rumble got too much. And then after that, it struck me that I was doing all of this cribbing for one night of hunger, and there were millions of others in Bangalore going through the very same thing on a daily basis. People who go to sleep without anything at all, people who are on the pavements, people who are in slums, at least I had the warm comfort of a house, I had the warm comfort of my bed, and I had a loving family to come home to, a fridge full of food if I had chosen to get over my laziness, but there were people that didn't have any of these. So, I know that Dasara, Diwali and Christmas are the seasons of giving and loving and sharing and so on. And as a family, over the years, over Navratri, we support families who work with us and so on, with food and provisions and so on. In March, I took a sabbatical from my work. I run a children's activity area in my other avatar. And since I was, literally jobless, I decided that this time I'm going to expand on what our Navratri giving usually does. And so I said, instead of giving provisions to people and getting them to cook, I want to do something from my own home. I want to cook and I want to go out into the streets and give this food to people who don't have access to one good meal a day perhaps. And then I decided that, since I had the time, I was going to try and involve the community. So the idea that I came up with was called Feed Your Neighbor, and what it entailed was I invited 2,000 people from across Bangalore to each cook 5 meals a day in their house and bring it across to a drop-off point close to their neighborhood. That's why the name Feed Your Neighbor. And I would have a volunteer at each of these designated points who would then pick up the cooked food and go to another identified area where we could then distribute the food. Again, it was a big grand idea. It was something that I didn't know whether it would work or not. And but I'm known for impulsive big things. And everybody laughed at me. My family said it was not something that I was going to be able to do because also it involved the use of social media, at which I'm rubbish. I think I'm tagged. Shivani will have a lot to say about that. I'm tagged a lot on things, but I don't really know very much how to use social media, either Facebook or Twitter. And I intended to use Facebook to get the word out. So I grandly woke up the next morning with this plan and I put it out on Facebook. And I went out with my son to spend the Dasara vacation and so on. I came back in the evening to find 468 shares of my post, as well as the entire text circulating around on WhatsApp. And I was ridiculously shocked. I chose to put my phone number out there, and my phone started ringing off the hook. To cut a long story short, this was 10 days before Dasara. I think my post was announced on the 25th of September. And I intended to start my program on the 12th of October. Where I intended to get 2,000 volunteers who would cook food at home, I managed to garner in these short 15 days over 7,000 volunteers. Um, Thank you. In where I intended for 1 lakh people to be fed across 10 days, we managed to feed 1,30,000 people across 11 days. And where I intended for it to be a one-time, short-term, 10-day program, the momentum that Feed Your Neighbor has garnered has continued right up to now. Thank you for the applause, but I don't think that I deserve any of it. What I contributed was one idea. What I contributed was probably my thought and probably the spark that ignited a flame, to sound very cliched. But what I'd like to highlight here is absolutely the power of citizen movement. There is nothing that we cannot do if we join hands together. And second and most importantly, it doesn't take one large act by one single person to make a change in your community. It takes smaller acts that start at home, literally in your own house, in whatever way you can. And food is everybody's basic necessity. I mean, look at us. We're here in a pub, we're here in a cafe, we're all eating and drinking because it's something we enjoy doing. It's something that we consider our birthright. And I've been privy to people who, there was a grandmother in the Ejipura slum who was looking after 8 grandkids. And she used to make mud cakes for the kids because she couldn't afford to buy them something to eat. And because she was an adult and she didn't want to eat mud because, you know, her thinking didn't allow it, she used to soak newspaper in water and swallow it because she thought it expanded in her stomach. The reactions of people that we gave or supplied these meals to ranged from utter disbelief that we were bringing them something to, of course, gratefulness that we were giving them. There is nothing like having a hot meal at the end of a day, right? There is nothing like going to bed on a full stomach. There is no feeling that matches it, right? And I think these people, the first day we went to them, they thought we were doing them an act of kindness. The second day when we went back, it was utter disbelief that, oh my God, they're back again. And when they saw that we were actually serious about continuing it, the kind of stuff that they did for us in return, it was a huge lesson in grace and humility. And I don't think that it's a misconception that you feel nice doing an act for somebody else. You feel nice when you see the reaction of people around you. So for instance, Dasara time coincided with Muharram and the fasting that led up to it. And therefore we found that outside the dargahs of Bangalore, there were a lot of beggars who would line up at night to receive alms from people who'd come there to pray. So at the Chikpet Dargah, it was about 11:30 at night, and we were handing out food packets to the beggars there. More than the food that we gave them, I think what people appreciated was the attention that we gave them. It was 2 minutes of conversation. It was 30 seconds of eye contact. It was a smile. It was a hug. It was a feeling that, you know, we know you're struggling, empathy towards the struggles that you're facing, and probably a reassurance that yes, there is a group of people who is, you know, who are thinking about you, who are going to do something about the problems that you face, hopefully on a long-term basis. And one of the beggars there, after I gave him his food, he ran to a nearby chaatwala and bought me from his daily earnings 1 plate of bel puri worth 10 rupees. Oh, that's not all. He tells me that he has 4 children. It's been 2 months since he had a meal at night because whatever he earns during the day, he uses to feed his 4 children the following day. His wife died of malnutrition about 6-7 months ago. And I tell you, I can go to any place, right? I can go to any fine dining restaurant, but nothing that I ever eat in my life will be tastier than the 10 rupee bel puri that I had that night. okay, we've had access to so many people that don't have access to this kind of meal on a daily basis. So how did we go about identifying people? We didn't. I invited volunteers to come forward and tell me where they thought a meal could make a difference, who a meal would make a difference to. And so we accessed slums. We went to construction sites where there were tons of migrant laborers. We went to orphanages, old age homes, shelter homes for the destitute and the physically challenged and so on. And like I said, this happened across Bangalore, so people could see the change that their contribution made. Because more than money or provisions or anything, I invited people to give of their time and effort by actually either physically cooking the meals at home or physically going out and distributing it. So of course Feed Your Neighbor ran very successfully over Dasara, but then what became of it after that? Like I said, it has proven to me two things. One, like I told you, the sheer power of citizen movement. There is nothing stronger than a group of people that get together with the right intention to do good for people. There is no power that I have found greater than that, and I truly applaud Bangalore for coming forward. Like I said, this is not an effort that I made, this is an effort that 7,000 people from over 15 countries and probably every single area in the city and about 12 other cities from across Bangalore have brought this change. And how has it progressed from here? People still continue to do it. People are inspired to make a difference by doing this in their own little ways. There's a lady in JP Nagar who continues to cook 5 meals a day from home and goes out every night and distributes it. There's a group of people I've met, so we always go out only after 10:30 at night, because that's when the shutters are down on the stores and people come out to sleep on the pavements. People have realized how many problems and struggles people on the street face, and ordinary people like you and I are coming forward to actually try and make this sort of a difference. Feed Your Neighbor is going to convert itself to a long-term program. I'm not really sure how, because it takes a lot of research, and that's something I'm working on now. But I urge you all, find a way to make a difference. Find one person, pick one person whose life you think you can transform. Genuinely, it doesn't take a lot. When you get out of here, please go and smile at somebody if that's all you can do. Trust me, it makes a difference. Thank you for listening to me, and thank you for giving me this platform to talk at. I'm very grateful.